Ladies and gentlemen, the end of physical gaming is officially here. PlayStation themselves have officially made two really stupid decisions. First, announcing that in the future, starting on January 2028, all future games will be digital only, right? Which means the joy of going to game stores and grabbing a copy, or maybe a buddy gives you a copy, or you go on eBay, or you go on Mercari and you purchase a used copy of a game, those days will be long behind us. They will be just a forgotten memory. I mean, when Grand Theft Auto 6 comes out, that's already going to be a thing because the game is basically digital and they're going to sell you a case that has like the cover on it and whatnot. They've announced this, as well as PlayStation 3. The PlayStation 3 store is going to be officially shutting down. You will no longer be able to access said store and purchase many great titles that are lost, perhaps stuck on the PlayStation 3, unless of course you want to stream them. That's the future, ladies and gentlemen. Streaming in digital media. Your content, your purchases in air quotes, will not be yours, right? It sounds like a meme. It seems like some cyberpunk dystopian reality, but we are seeing it. We are truly seeing the future and the consequences of these actions, because just recently there was about 500 movies that became, caught in like some licensing hell issue, to the point where not only can you not purchase them on like certain PlayStation storefronts, they were removed from people's libraries. So great example of how out of touch it seems that PlayStation is to announce that games will be going fully digital, while at the same time announcing that a digital storefront will be permanently closing. Let's just get into it, because what are we doing? PlayStation blog, this is official from Sony themselves. In response to shifting trends and consumer preferences, new games will be released on PlayStation Store and at retailers in digital formats only. Now, I'm not going to pretend that I'm like some huge like surveyor and I know what everybody's buying and why everybody's buying games. I still buy physical media. If a game is available for purchase, especially something like Amazon or at Target, where I get a discount, first off, if you have a Target membership, you get like 5% off every game. Amazon, I can do like pay in 6, or I can get like 5% off any game. That will no longer be a thing, right? Unless, of course, I buy the code. And sometimes when you buy like these digital cards and whatnot, they don't apply with like certain deals and discounts because it's considered like a digital purchase compared to buying a product. And that's unfortunately the state of what we are looking at here. All new games releasing on PlayStation consoles will be discontinued starting January 2028, right? Disc production. Following this date, new games will be available on PlayStation Store and at retailers in digital formats only. This transition has no impact on games that are already released or will be releasing prior to January 2028. I would hope so, right? Obviously, this means that very few games that are still in production will continue to stay in production. Again, not sure how that works, because it already seems as though storefronts are dwindling. My local GameStop has already closed. Very unfortunate. Again, I'm not a fan of like GameStop's pricing tactics. I think they're very scummy. I think it's just not a very fun experience. It's very annoying, if anything. When you go into a store, first off, all their games are like $10, $20 more than you can find at a competitor, right? Not very good for business. Second off, their whole stores are lined with like shirts and Funko Pops and all sorts of other things completely unrelated to video games. And if anything, they kind of remind you like why video games are dying, right? Like, why is there a whole wall with Jak and Daxter, Ratchet and Clank, Sly Cooper, Banjo and Kazooie Funko Pops, yet I can't play any of those games, or they don't have newer versions, right? Again, speaking of the hellscape that is the PlayStation 3 store, you cannot own any of these like Ratchet and Clank titles, Jak and Daxter titles. I think Jak and Daxter you can. There are some Ratchet and Clank games, a lot of the Sly Cooper games. There's like the fourth one, Infamous, like great examples of some games, God of War Ascension, some great titles that are like stuck on the PlayStation 3. almost 20 years later, these games have not been ported over to the PlayStation Store. They're not possible to be emulated through like the PlayStation 4 or PlayStation 5. They're just kind of stuck there, right? So a great example of how you see the merchandise of these products that Sony like shakes in your face, right? They jingle these keys that is these lost franchises that they let die, and they have no intention to create a new product or sell them to anyone, right? Sucker Punch can, make Ghost of Yotai and Ghost of Zooey Mama and all these new games and, just kind of copy and paste franchises, but God forbid, they take God Infamous 1 and 2 and port them to newer consoles. God forbid they remake any of those games or remaster any of those games. I know people hate remasters and people hate remakes, but it'll be a great way to see if people are still interested in these titles. It just kind of shows that when it comes to consumer preferences, it's interesting because it's like people want certain games and they don't listen, but I guess they can see the numbers of like digital sales compared to physical sales, and somehow in their brain, that's enough reason to warrant the end of physical media. You will be someone who goes into the store, you will purchase a key to a game, and 10, 20 years from now, they can shut that store down. People will always tell you, as time goes on, new consoles come out, it doesn't matter. Who cares if I cannot play the PlayStation 3? Who cares if I cannot go on the PS3 and like buy any games? Because PS5 is out, PS6 will be out, PS7 will be out. The problem is there are so many games that are just kind of stuck in like this hell that is either stuck on one console, stuck as like a store exclusive. I can think of a lot of indie games right now that are on PS3 that'll be just lost media. Fat Princess is one of them. Pain, which was like this game where you like launch people on a catapult. It's pretty fun. All these games I can just think of like flowing through my head are just gone, right? They'll be gone once the PlayStation 3 shuts down. I guess we can just get into that. July 1st, pretty important moment in gaming, is PlayStation has just decided to completely ruin any credibility they had, right? If the $200, $300 price increases for the Pro and all their consoles wasn't enough, this will definitely be what seals that deal if you haven't already considered switching over to PC. Unfortunately, the AI crap is still coming. It doesn't seem to be stopping anytime soon, but changes start this year in select markets, followed by global changes in 2027. After 20 years, 2 decades of supporting the PS3 console, we wanted to let you know we will be closing the PS Store on PS3 as well on Vita. PS Store on PS3 will close in select markets starting this year, followed by global closures for PS3 and Vita next year. That means new content purchases will no longer be possible once the store closes on these devices. To ease the transition, players will still be able to download previously purchased content after the closing date for the foreseeable future. So this is like good, right? Like if you own the content, I'm assuming there will be some section that's like, I'm assuming there will be internet still on the PS3. Obviously, they can't like take you the ability to use the internet on the console. What they can do is disable the storefront, right? So if anything, you might be able to like go on the website and buy a PS3 game from like the PlayStation Store on the computer. Maybe. I don't want to like say it 100%, but it might be possible, right? But it still sucks that you're basically going to have half of the console completely unusable because, Sony's cutting costs or trying to save money, whatever the case may be. As the PlayStation Store continues to evolve to support modern commerce systems, including updated payment processing standards, PS3 and Vita are no longer able to support these updates as the level required, right? So this would obviously be like a reference to, Apple Pay or PayPal, Pay in 4, Klarna, Afterpay, Affirm, whatever the case may be. There's something that Sony does not really want to update on the PlayStation storefront. The purchasing process is pretty old-fashioned. It's pretty simple. You have cash, and I think you have not cash. Obviously, you can't pay cash. You have credit card, and you have PayPal. And I guess to their standards, that's not enough. I guess it's pretty difficult for like credit card processors who like do authentication and verifications, it's pretty difficult for them to do something like that on the PS3 since it is a bit of a cryptic hardware. It came out again 20-ish years ago, right? There are kids playing PS4 don't even know what a PS3 is, weren't even alive when PS3 was around, right? But basically that's what they're saying here. So if you're in Mexico, Honduras, or Nicaragua, you will the store will be closing August 26th. So literally next month it's closing. Other Latin American and Middle Eastern countries will have until late 2026. So literally October, November. All other countries, including PS3 and Vita, will close in July of 2027. So they're giving you about a year. Literally 1 year from now, the PlayStation 3 will officially be a relic. It will officially be a box, a paperweight that, again, so many games just aren't really like being played. There's not really much players. I'd imagine there's some few games stuck on PS3 that are like getting players. It's probably Killzone, maybe some Little Big Planet. I don't know. I think Little Big Planet got killed. There's a lot of games that are just going to be lost to time, unfortunately. And you better hope that you can grab the physical discs because you'll no longer be able to buy the digital versions of these games. As we continue to expand the PlayStation experience on newer devices, most of our users are playing today. We need focus, more resources on delivering the best gaming experiences on these platforms as we look ahead towards the future of digital only gaming. It's very sad. I don't know how I feel right now because it's like I understand technology sucks, right? AI sucks. Gaming right now is kind of in like a shitty spot. It's been in a shitty spot for close to a decade now. But to literally see, when I saw, freaking Grand Theft Auto 6 was going only digital, it was a sad reality that games are getting too big to fit onto a disc. And the fact that like some game companies are able to get away with this because they can blame spoilers, or they can say, we want everyone to enjoy the game at the same time. So we don't want to risk anyone getting the copy early and like spoiling it for anyone or pirating the game, blah, blah, blah. And now we have the shutdown of the PlayStation 3 store. And now we have PlayStation, the entire company, announcing the shift from physical media to all digital media, right? We're not talking Rockstar Games or maybe Activision or Blizzard, a certain company, Ubisoft. We're not talking certain individualistic companies announcing, yeah, we're switching digital. We're going all digital. It's just more profitable. It's more knowledgeable. It's more logical. As much as like Xbox also, I don't think Xbox has announced any plans to go all digital. They're all digital. I cannot go into Target and find a game. Target near me literally has a section for Xbox controllers, consoles, headsets, and like cards, like the Xbox cards, and they have like Madden 26 and FIFA. That's it. Again, my local GameStop closed. Can't go in there. It's almost as if all these companies are like working together, and they're not doing, physical media is just going to be hard to find or it's going to be annoying to acquire. It's the fact that it's just not going to be possible. You literally will not be able to buy physical PlayStation games starting January of 2028, which will fly by. That's not a long time from now. That is 1 year from now-ish. It's 1 year and a few months, and PlayStation is going to be a new era. I don't know. Very sad day for gaming, I think. July 1st, 2026 will go down as a very sad day, I think. And I want to know what you guys think about this. I know some people out there have that mindset of like, who cares? This is all pearl clutching, right? Like, I know the issues with licensing and whatnot. I like to think of Deadpool. There's a Deadpool game that was really fun. It was on PS3, PS4, Xbox. I'm not going to say it was like the greatest game ever, and oh my god, it's so sad people can never play it. But it was a fun game. It was a fun, fully playable game. complete story, fun voice acting, high budget game, right? Licensing issues caused the game to be delisted, and you can buy the physical disc for like $90 if someone's lucky enough to sell it to you for that, which is not worth it at all because, again, fun game, not a $90 game. And you will not be able to buy a game like that physically in the future if games go all digital. And that's just kind of something, I'm thinking about right about now, which kind of saddens me. But I want to know what you guys think down below. Thank you for watching, and peace out.